Hello everybody, welcome back. This is your tropical update for November 1st. We're currently watching Tropical Storm Lisa located nearing Belize now where a hurricane warning is in effect, and Tropical Storm Martin over the central Atlantic today. As we can see, Martin has formed as kind of expected. As we looked at the models the past several days, you could really tell that Martin was developing into a tropical cyclone. The Hurricane Center had it on its radar for probably a week, and then all of a sudden dropped it about 2 days ago from being watched at all, which I found unusual because the models still had big support for it. Then in the past couple of days, they've ramped back up the probabilities, and now we have Tropical Storm Martin over the Atlantic. That's about all I'm going to say on that. Our main focus is Lisa, a much smaller storm, but it will bring heavy rainfall, storm surge, and possibly hurricane force winds to Belize and the Bay Islands north of Honduras here over the next few days. As we can see here, moderate impacts mainly due to storm surge and low-end hurricane force winds possible over the northern Bay Islands of Honduras as well as Belize, and then inland also rainfall is going to be a concern for these areas. As we can see here is the zoomed in satellite image of Lisa today. A lot of convection with it, as I mentioned, not like the biggest storm on the planet, but it is a tropical storm, and it will have the effects of a tropical storm, perhaps even a Category 1 hurricane here shortly. As I mentioned, storm surge will be concerned, 4 to 7 feet possible in Belize where that hurricane warning is in effect, 2 to 4 feet of storm surge in the hurricane watch area in Mexico, as well as 1 to 3 feet in the Bay Islands of off of the Honduras coast. Flooding is also concerned, 4 to 6 inches, isolated 10 in Belize at this point in time. So again, a decent amount of rain as well as storm surge. Remember, water is the big killer in tropical cyclones, not wind. So just be aware of that if you're in Honduras, Belize, northern Guatemala, perhaps even the Yucatan. Hurricane watch all the way up in Costa Maya, Mexico, popular vacation destination there. As we can see, Category 1 is still a possibility. It's still on the table. Again, it's looking like a low-end Cat 1, but it could not reach hurricane strength, or it could become a Category 2, according to a handful of the models there. So we just need to keep that in the back of our minds as we move forward with time. About this time tomorrow, it's probably going to be probably 6 to 12 hours away from landfall in Belize. So that's kind of where we're at timeline-wise with this storm, and it's expected to dissipate out. It won't make it completely into the Gulf as some of the models show there. As we can see from the European plumes here, the probability of it striking Belize is over 90% at this point, obviously. But outside of that, it's probably not going to last very long. Here is Tropical Storm Martin, again zoomed in at the storm. You can kind of see how it looks with its convection. It's definitely evolved from a frontal storm, as you can tell, and according to all of the analytics, it is no longer frontal in nature, thus making it a tropical cyclone. Could reach hurricane strength before becoming non-tropical again. We'll continue to monitor that. People in the Azores, or of course shipping interests, really need to be paying attention to the future of Martin and its strengthening. There's one other thing we need to be watching, and I mentioned this in yesterday's video. It's the area in the Central Caribbean making its way near Hispaniola, perhaps the Bahamas. And as we move on with time, and as we can more easily see here in the GFS ensembles, Florida needs to be watching out. And this time it's the Atlantic coast of Florida that needs to be watching this system, which is possibly going to develop in the Central Caribbean and then make its way up into perhaps Puerto Rico. Again, all of this, it's going to be relatively weak. It's the time of year that they should remain relatively weak. And then perhaps into Florida. Again, perhaps. There's still a lot out. This is still 7 days out. We'll see exactly what happens with time. As for now, we're going to keep our eyes on Belize. Eyes on Belize. I don't know. That just is weird to say. Due to Lisa as well as Martin, and continue to monitor Atlantic for potential other developments such as what I just mentioned down the line. That's all for now. Chris Dixon over there, Catholic Media.